Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I am Dr. Charu Mathur. I am advocate on record to the Supreme Court, and I am also an editor at EBC Learning. Today with us we have Hemant Batra sir, and he will be talking to us about the challenges and opportunity in the legal profession. Sir has a vast experience, and he actually needs no introduction. You briefly, he started, he's an international lawyer now. He not only argues the matter, he does the due diligence. He is a mediator, he is a speaker, and he is doing this for past many years. He has been the past past vice chairman of SARC Law also. Now, just to tell you briefly about our platform, this webinar is brought to you by EBC Learning. EBC Learning is e-learning initiative of EBC Group, which proudly presents SCC journals and the books that we all have read as law students, and which we still continue to read as lawyers. Now, this topic is very important as the way the profession has changed. It has come out with a lot of opportunities and it has also come out with a lot of challenges. This is what Mr. Batra sir will be talking to us about. And just few preliminaries about today's webinar. You can ask sir question and answers. You can keep on typing it in the you can keep on typing it in the chat message, and I will be asking sir the questions. This is live available on the YouTube also, and the recording will also be available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/EBC Learning. So now, without much ado, I'll just hand over mic to sir. Sir can take it from here.
Thank you, Charu. So I can start now?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, let me just mute the speaker so that there is no echo. Yeah. Hello, friends. It gives me immense pleasure to be interacting with you today. A flag which I am putting to all my webinars these days is that I am experimenting with my appearance during the lockdown. So this isn't my usual look, but I assure you that you have got the right person despite this look and appearance. So kindly excuse me for this little, beard or stubble, whatever you may, call it as. Well, I hope that everything is well with you. You are staying safe and utilizing the lockdown time in your best interest, not just lazing around, introspecting and preparing yourselves for the future and challenges that may be stored in future and may unfold. But my first message to all of you at the threshold is that never treat difficulties or impediments as obstacles or hindrances. These obstacles are not obstacles, but challenges which need to be countered with wisdom and overcome through prudence. Whenever you talk about lawyers in the society, you get a mixed response. Some people would, just hate lawyers based on their personal experience and would narrate worst brutal jokes on lawyers. Not only in India, I'm talking globally. Some people have that perception, comparing the lawyers with devil in the deep sea. The one joke which I hear the most is, why did not a shark eat the lawyer? And whoop comes the answer, because of obvious professional courtesy. Whereas some compliment lawyers as well by referring to them as saviors and custodians of law and justice or rule of law. But let me tell you, legal profession is world's most prized and accomplishing profession. And I'm not exaggerating in any which way. I'm talking entirely based on my experience and experience of people around me. It's the most prized profession. Lawyers are here to stay and stay forever. Law is so closely interwoven with our daily lives that we cannot sever it in any manner. Whatever we do, some or the other law is related with almost every aspect of our daily existence. That is the importance of law and legal professionals. Talking about myself briefly, I graduated in law in 1991 and got enrolled as an advocate in the same year with the Delhi Bar Council. I started my career as a corporate, commercial, regulatory, and public policy lawyer almost 3 decades ago. To begin with, like all lawyers in those times, I also ventured into conventional advocacy, appearance in court, etc., tribunals, forums. In terms of public policy changes, 1991 was a landmark year for India. Our nation went through massive, if not revolutionary, definitely a groundbreaking process of economic policy change. The economic liberalization regime, got to be introduced, and a new area of law and public policy practice emerged for new breed of lawyers. They branded themselves fashionably as corporate, commercial, transactional, and business lawyers, non-litigation lawyers, to put it in short. So I was also one of those fashionable lawyers at that time, and I certainly took advantage of early entry into the spectrum of corporate law practice, commercial law practice, FDI law practice. I went through my own set of evolution in the legal profession. Almost everybody does. About a year back, I got back into the space of litigation practice as a counsel. Well, that's the beauty of this profession. It has a wide open space. So my professional life, kind of took a complete circle after about 28 years of law practice, of corporate commercial practice. I gained huge knowledge by virtue of handling hundreds of commercial, business and corporate law related matters. But I continued with my additional educational aspirations as well, which you also must, by taking up some unique courses, including online certificate courses from diverse prestigious schools and colleges of law and public policy, and even music, which continues to be my hobby even today, and which I would advise all of you also to have one, not music per se, any hobby, because that sort of keeps you rebooting. And legal profession is a profession of a lot of stresses, so you need a creative hobby. Here I will also like to quote John Grisham, an American novelist you must have heard of. He's an attorney, politician, and activist, best known for his popular legal thrillers. In his book, The Rainmaker, you know what he says? He says, I don't feel stupid, just inadequate. After 3 years of studying the law, I am very much aware of how little I know. It has a deep practical message for all the law students and lawyers. The Raymond's ad, which we see on the television, which talks about a complete man, does not exist in the legal profession. There is no such expression in the legal practice or law practice or legal profession. No lawyer will ever be complete. It is a process of constant evolution. You have to gain knowledge each day. You have to fill up the gray areas each day. You have to study and read each day to be as close to becoming a good lawyer. Let me come to the first challenge in this profession. And that is, you will be a student of law all your life. Law degree is merely a gate pass to enter the profession. Your knowledge and intellectual capacity, coupled with analytical and expression skills, will give you an edge over others. We are today discussing the challenges and opportunities in the legal profession. And please remember that I will not be segregating the challenges and the opportunities. You know why? Because with every challenge, there is an opportunity waiting. The moment you accept the challenge, you take a leap forward in the legal profession. It's an opportunity in itself. It's interlinked. It's intertwined. The whole legal profession, I've seen with my experience of last 3 decades, it has taken a completely new dimension, bringing forth new opportunities, but at the same time, several challenges as well. It has become a typical contest of survival of the fittest. Yes. By fittest, I mean not merely physically and mentally fit, but also prudent and wise enough to adapt to the changing needs of the legal profession. Societal changes. I have noticed that this profession is very testing and makes you go through highly trying times. Yes, it is tough. And if you could hold on to your will and endurance, believe me, this profession gives you a vertical growth to all relatively in their own respective spaces. It gives amazing growth with will and endurance and determination. Initial days are full of wholesome struggle, but that is an essence of future success. So challenge number 2 is that there is not any shortcut to fame and name in the legal profession. There are no shortcuts. No. Do not rely on destiny. No. Trust your hard work, desire, and determination. Yes. Challenge number 3, which I think of, legal profession, does not give very many chances to prove your worth. Remember this. Hence, take this profession very, very seriously. Because one casual mistake could prove to be very fatal for your career and opportunity. It's like you're flying a plane. But if you do it right, it can take you or bring you in the limelight. Let me begin with reminding you that it is horrendous, beg your pardon, to imagine a lawyer admitting something contrary to his case and pleadings and being thrown out of the court within a minute. This situation becomes graver in criminal cases when, a slight mistake can turn the outcome of the case. A single mistake in drafting pleadings or a legal notice may ruin a case, while I would say error in a plaint or a written statement may ultimately be the cause for a person losing a case. Yes. A single wrong question asked in cross-examination may again be the sole cause for a party losing a civil case, or and is getting convicted in a criminal case. We need to realize that the legal profession is a profession which is as serious as that of a career as a chartered accountant or a medical doctor or a surgeon performing surgery. Unfortunately, in India, legal profession was looked upon as a fallback upon plan or profession. Always. Everybody thought that it is easy to pass a law examination and that no matter whatever one's training or knowledge, it was felt it is not difficult to attain success in the profession, get a degree. It is this attitude that has diluted the quality of the profession over some time. However, in the last 1 decade, the system and manner of legal education has undergone tremendous positive change. And the credit goes primarily to the principle of demand of quality lawyers. Principle of demand of quality lawyers. Mind it. Occasioned on account of socio-economic and political developments or in the nation and all around, which has led to the setting up of high standard supply chain in the form of national law schools and several other meritorious law schools. Now, challenge number 4. Lawyers should be commercial minded, but they should not let that ruin the nobility and ethics of this profession. Remember that. Lawyers do need to earn well, as that is an important yardstick for gauging success of a lawyer. You know, that he earns well, he's a good lawyer. But we need to check that the law student should not be trained to get into another extreme of commercialization for legal profession. Not even young lawyers. You shouldn't get into another extreme of commercialization for legal profession. Because, you know, legal profession today is being referred to as legal business, hardly a profession. And it shouldn't happen that we prove, again, quoting John Grisham, we shouldn't prove his quote right, which goes on to say that all students enter law school with a certain amount of idealism and desire to serve the public. Many law students want to become human rights lawyers, right, in the first semester. But after 3 years of brutal competition, we care for nothing but the right job with the right firm where we can make partner in 7 years and earn big bucks. Yeah, that's how the aspiration changes over a period of 3 years while you're in a law faculty. Now, moving to the biggest challenge of the profession, technology. Number 5. It can actually be subdivided into many different subheads. Technology is a big expression. But I'm reminded of Richard Susskind. Way back in 1996, Richard Susskind, a renowned British author, speaker, you must read his books, an independent advisor to international professional firms and national governments. He is the IT advisor, information technology advisor to the Lord Chief Justice of England and Wales. He also holds professorship at the University of Oxford. You know, in his book, The Future of Law, written 3 decades back, almost, he noted that changes in technology will fundamentally, irreversibly, and comprehensively change legal practice, the administration of justice, and the way in which non-lawyers, mind it, non-lawyers handle their legal and quasi-legal affairs, because it has direct bearing on the legal profession. Access to the internet is a boon, blessing, no doubt about it, for lawyers, but it is a challenge as well. So let me refer to internet or even artificial intelligence as challenge number 6. Internet or AI provides potential clients with access to legal information at drop of the hat. Today, clients are so well informed that they do research on their own prior to speaking with the lawyer. This has transformed the role of lawyers. Lawyers should be, I feel, one step ahead, if not more, so that he could stand out in grouping and advising as to which of the information gathered by the client is unfailing and which one is inaccurate. So you have to be one step ahead of your client, obviously, then only you could be a good lawyer. Artificial intelligence tools are also eating away research jobs in law firms and law offices. But on a brighter side, it is giving lawyers an enormous opportunity to defeat AI, artificial intelligence, with their natural intelligence. Because your natural intelligence is under challenge. Law is today both a business and a profession. We have to acknowledge that. And this has been endorsed by Robert Joff more than a decade back. He was presiding partner of American law firm Cravath, Swain and Moore LLP, a leading American international law firm. He passed away in 2010. I'm talking about here foresight of some eminent legal professionals. They had predicted what is going to happen in the legal profession in the coming decades. Challenge number 7 is perpetual, like some of other challenges. Private law practice is squarely in the midst of constant change all the time. Just admit this. To look for static, inflexible security in the legal profession is fooling and duping oneself. Success in this profession lies in constantly changing your approach with the changing needs of the society. So remember that. Changing needs of the society and also changing needs of the stakeholders, clients and other people. As technology and numerous other factors are challenging the initiative and creativity of lawyers each day. The good news and opportunity is that the legal profession is adapting quickly and innovatively, creating new patterns of practice, developing dators and regulatory rules that might stifle growth and competition, finding resourceful methods of handling the increasing costs of practice and overheads, because that's always a challenge for young lawyers and even established lawyers and law firms. Management, new tools of management as competition from professional service firms is increasing. So you have to have management skills. To better understand the transformation of legal practice from a profession, traditionally made up of small independent firms. When I had joined, the firms were used to be very small with 5 or 10 lawyers. Now to a multi-billion-dollar global business. Harvard Law School, for instance, has established more than a decade back a center known as the Center on Lawyers and the Center on Lawyers and the professional services industry. The first program of its kind in the world, and in fact, similar programs and projects have now been launched in Stanford and Yale as well. David Wilkins, who was leading the project at Harvard, I interacted quite closely with him. He said that law firms and other professional service providers are now a critical part of the global economy. So lawyers actually constitute a big constituent of the global economy today. By facilitators of investments and handling transactions and resolving disputes, conflicts. The legal industry is undergoing rapid change. Increasingly, law firms are merging into large global enterprises that often also provide ancillary services, such as investment advice, consulting services, and venture capital advisory. So that has been a challenge for the last nearly 2 decades now. So challenge number 8 is that simultaneously other professional service firms, remember this, including accounting firms, investment banks, and consulting firms, have begun to offer services which are paralegal in nature and sometimes even legal in nature. So they are overlapping with those offered by lawyers. And in some parts of the world, they have become law practitioners. That's the cost of liberalization in service sector. These and other similar developments are blurring the boundaries that previously separated professions, while at the same time posing new challenges for the professionals who must know now how to manage these diverse global enterprises, because you have competition coming from all directions. Legal practice is being transformed every day by economic realities in today's global marketplace. It deserves serious academic study so that students, clients, consumers, policymakers, and members of the profession themselves can better understand its role in our economy and society. And so that needed improvements can be made thoughtfully, not recklessly. Today, if you want to succeed, I'm telling all the young lawyers and law students and other students aspiring to become lawyers, you have to be at a higher level in the intellectual value chain. You have to be at that higher level. It is no more a profession of default or convenience. No. In my days, I remember, when I took admission in law, people asked me, could you not succeed in getting admission in an engineering or medical college? Oh, don't mind if you have to get into law, just prepare for civil services while you're doing law. Because law profession in my times, in early 90s, was considered as some sidekick. It was considered more of a convenient opening than a choice. However, actually, I chose it because let me be a witness to it that this is not one of the better professions, but the best profession where every part of your personality can excel, giving tremendous amount of self-accomplishment. Believe me, the crux, the core of this profession is to provide value to the client in their personal or business matters by providing assistance in various critical and strategic decision-making processes. You are an intelligent part of the whole mechanism. By becoming a meaningful bridge between origin and destination, by enabling ends of justice at their doorstep, you are the most accomplished person on the surface of the earth. There have been many changes regarding which we should congratulate ourselves as lawyers. The legal profession has come a long way from the stereotypical old-fashioned lawyer in my times, when I joined profession, who was obsessed with legal precedents and nursed a blatant contempt uh, against the client. The client would be seen as the most hateful person. When I joined profession, the lawyers were demigods. They used to dictate to the clients. But now tables have turned. Clients are the demigods. Consumer is the demigods. And they should be, as they are the recipients of our services. This has undoubtedly made this profession more competitive. It has. It has become a consumer-driven or client-driven market. It is a challenge for lawyers. Believe me. Challenge number 9, I think it's 9, is meeting the client expectation. The expectations are really sky high of the clients. They are emboldened and enabled with technology today. They are very well informed, our clients. They expect their lawyers will be proactive in discovering approaches and strategies to be effective, economical, and presenting alternatives and resolutions, which could bear positive results. They expect too much out of you now. This can strain relationships between lawyers and clients. It does happen because they are very well informed, which puts additional pressure on lawyers to find ways to meet these expectations. And on the top of it, you have hundreds and thousands of law students graduating each year and enrolling as advocates, lawyers, and with obviously no retirement age for lawyers who have been there for ages. The house of legal profession is not full, but overflowing. So what can make you successful? It's a very commonsensical argument or contention. What can make you successful is being noticeable by displaying your talent, your cutting edge, by being visible in every aspect of legal profession. The advocate of today is not only a lawyer, but also a business person, a strategic person, juggling the demands of an increasingly competitive market practice. The makeup of legal practice has changed considerably in last 2 decades. I have noticed that. And it could well be another challenge, perhaps challenge number 10, because I think we dealt with 9. Advocates today, whether in the high street or large city firms, must provide excellent client service as well as a market to new clients, something out of the box. Manage their staff and their finances to be successful. To do so, they require not only excellent legal knowledge and legal skills, but also good interpersonal, PR, networking, management skills. Advocates in practice are becoming increasingly aware of the importance of learning, developing and honing these skills. That is why law firms, including the one which I had co-founded and now I have retired from to join counsel practice, invest in an extensive internal training programs covering topics such as drafting and negotiation skills, how to communicate with the clients, the leadership role, supervision skills, and so on and so forth. There are huge opportunities of multiple nature. The legal profession has undergone, I feel, a sea change over the last 2 decades, with existing businesses growing in size and with a large number of new business enterprises, mergers, acquisitions happening each year. Due to this new trend, corporate lawyers are on a growth flight, which in turn has led to increase in law firms in India. And most of the law students today want to become corporate lawyers. When there are businesses new or expanding, there are transactions, there are bound to be conflicts, disputes, and wherever there are such issues, you need dispute resolution lawyers, you need litigation lawyers. So litigation is equally important, the litigation part of the profession. Equally important, if not more, I would say. So, the repercussions of globalization on the legal services and on the legal profession has been both, I would say, qualitative and quantitative. Sorry. It is evident that the need for professional services, has been tremendous in the legal sector. Need for professional services. In last 10-15 years, I've seen the role of law firms in India in providing professional services in corporate sector has increased manifold, many a times. These new law firms in India, primarily engage and specialize in designing equity and loan instruments, several other transactional documents, joint ventures, mergers, acquisition documents, addressing regulatory issues for client. There has been a sharp shift, I would say, in the nature of emerging legal sectors towards even settling disputes. You would have noticed that there is a massive leaning towards ADR rather than adversarial litigation. People are looking for more effective and efficacious resolution of disputes in the form of arbitration, mediation, conciliation, so on and so forth, negotiations. So I personally feel that future of law practice will be focused more, if I was to reconcile between corporate laws and litigation laws, more on IPR laws, because intellectual wealth is becoming very, very significant. ADR, information technology and media laws. That's the future, I think, of legal profession. And earlier the solution of some complicated legal issues could only be provided by professional international law firms, but now this problem has been very effectively addressed, and Indian law firms are going across border to advise even international clients on several complicated matters which may not actually pertain to the Indian jurisdiction. So that's the element and elevation of intellect Indian lawyers have displayed over the last few years. I'll take another maybe 5 minutes, and then we can take up the questions. Let me switch on the speaker as well.
Yeah. A few questions are there.
Sorry, what did you say?
The few questions are there. We will take it after you finish.
Yeah. Another 5 or 6 minutes, perhaps, I would say. There are many top-rated law firms in India which have been founded and promoted by fairly young lawyers. I mean, you would know there are several law firms today established by young lawyers, and they're doing phenomenally well. So this profession of law does not discriminate amongst categories and standing of lawyers per se now in the current times. If you are hardworking and serious about this profession, you can grow by leaps and bounds. You know, solo, small sized, mid sized, and large firms all are transforming themselves through technology now. Each law firm is using technology to its advantage. And even solo practitioners, assuming any of you wants to set up an office, set up an independent practice, it's no more a challenge now, because you can conduct your practice from home or from remote locations. You can maintain virtual offices in multiple jurisdictions, both domestic and international. So technology has given an edge and facilitated expansion of legal profession, even by young lawyers, who would have limitations as to expenditures and cost and so on and so forth. So technology has played an important role. It may have taken away some jobs, but at the same time, it has facilitated expansion and brought forward several opportunities. So to all the young lawyers and law students who are listening to me, what needs to be done by you to overcome the challenges and of ever changing legal profession and sort of availing opportunities is that it is important to start by looking at the practice of the future and the skills that will be required by you as lawyers. So while you're practicing at the present times, always keep an eye on the future. Have a tremendous foresight, if you want to be one step ahead of others. There is no doubt that the profession is constantly going through a period of considerable change, as I have mentioned ample times. There are a number of trends, that have already started, that have already started and will develop further in the coming decade. And be active by sharing your knowledge through blogs, authoring books, engaging in educative projects, and so on. Look for something different, something which displays your intellect. So I'll be, quickly, looking at some bullet points. There is also focus on specialization of legal field. General practitioners' days are gone. So I would also be advising you, or sort of in a way requesting you, that try to specialize in a particular field of law, because that is something which consumers and clients are looking forward to. Legal profession has become quite similar to that of a medical profession, where you look for medical doctors who specialize in a particular branch of medicine. So likewise, it is very important that you sort of look for some specialization rather than just holding the flag of being a general practitioner. So I would basically close my address now, and I would love to take your questions. I would just like to mention that quickly, one more point which I had jotted down, that as some commentators, because I wanted to block their argument, some commentators have gone to the extent of saying that that with the advancement of technology and with databases available on internet, the utility of younger lawyers is diminishing, and so therefore the legal profession is looking at a bleak uh, uh, future. I mean, I do not agree with that at all. I feel this is too drastic an analysis. Clients will still require the influencing, analytical, creative skills of human lawyers. Empathy and our use of language are the traits that distinguish us as humans from animals and indeed computers. So, computers can't beat us by any means. So, these skills will still be in demand. You will still be in demand from clients in this century. And with every passing year, your importance and your demand is going to increase manifold. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Uh, I was reading about AI during this lockdown, and I realized that it is actually not a fit for doing the justice to the people. One, because of the textual language that we use, and I
Absolutely.
was reading about the software Compass in US and how
Yeah,
it actually failed to deliver the justice. So it can only give in a binary yes or no without applying reasoning.
absolutely. That's true. Yeah. It's a dumb uh, artificial uh, servant, you could say. Yeah.
So I think human lawyers are here to stay for till the end of humanity if it comes down to that.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, we are the originators and creators of artificial intelligence. So we can't be its slave.
Right.
Artificial intelligence will always remain slave of the
Yeah,
originators.
because this is the time I utilize reading about AI.
Yeah.
So I was just reading about the operation of algorithms, and
Right.
there was this talk by some professor at Oxford also. So
Right.
we were talking about like it is impossible to replace lawyers. This is the one industry where AI will have difficulty. Maybe for scanning the documents and all, that
Yeah.
work they can do,
Absolutely.
but not where you have to actually use your intelligence and reasoning that is going
Absolutely.
to.
See, on a marked path, you can have an autopilot because there is a marked path that from point A plane will take off, and at point B, it has to land. But in legal profession, there is no point A and no point B. And every minute you have to think differently. You have to think strategically. So you need human application of mind, not an artificial application of mind.
So now I take few of the queries from the participants. They are asking which is a better route to start 3 years law college or 5 years for greater success in the profession.
Well, I personally feel that the longevity is definitely much preferred as against 3 years, because it adds an element of seriousness to the profession which you are assuming. And in any case, it also sort of prepares you to choose a path while you are in high school. Whereas in 3 year, I've realized that the people who get into law may not have started on that path to become lawyers, but down the line, while they finished their undergrad, they did BA, BCom, or BSc, whatever, they decided to choose law, and many of them uh, chose by virtue of default, rather than by choice. So I personally feel that if you want to be a lawyer, you are adult enough at the high school level to choose to be a lawyer, and definitely it makes you sharper. In fact, Charu, I tell many of my juniors that uh, who graduate with this 5 year law degree, that you are already 2 years in profession. I don't know, that's what I tell them, because I mean, if you look at UK, UK has 3 year law after high school.
Right.
you know
Yeah.
so if after high school you're doing 5 years in India, that means vis-a-vis British lawyers, you're 2 years ahead, so you have
Right.
an edge.
Yeah, but then again, there you need a license to practice and all that. And they put you in that rigor.
Yeah,
So that is if we can have something like that, that will be really beneficial. Because
yeah,
even after
correct.
five
Yeah,
years
that
or three
practical
years of law,
practical part of it. Yeah, correct. That's true. I have agree with you there. But I think even in national law schools, I've seen in other law schools, they are giving a lot of practical training, to the students who are doing this 5 year course.
thank you. Right, sir. So next query is: do you think to become a corporate commercial lawyer, CS will be beneficial? Company secretary, being a company secretary, will it be beneficial?
Yeah. Well, I would say that it is not in any way a compulsive sort of requirement. It does not cross my mind that it will give me an edge or advantage. But as I mentioned right in the beginning, that you are a law student all through your life, and any additional qualification gathered during that process will go to your benefit. So it may not be a prerequisite, but it would definitely be an additional qualification, which would be like a feather in your cap while you are looking at complex corporate issues of clients, and while you are even trying to gather briefs for yourself. So it gives you a marketing edge, a networking edge, a PR edge, and some better insight into the regulatory regime of corporate laws. So I mean there is no prerequisite, I would say. I mean, if you are passionate about it, do it, not for the sake of it or heck of it.
Right, sir. Sir, there are few queries regarding like what should be a routine, like in the lockdown times or even otherwise, for a young lawyer to follow or a law student, because I think reading is something which is very critical in our
Very
profession.
good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
Charu,
should
I'll
the
tell you.
routine be?
Yeah, Charu, not only during lockdown, but for all times to come, even post opening of the lockdown, let me tell you, in today's world, your digital footprint is very, very important. If you apply for any job, I mean, all the law students who are listening to me and young lawyers, I am on some committees of foreign universities. When we assess the candidate, we go through the documentation which is supplied by the candidate, but then we also go on the net and we try to punch in those names there and find out that are there any digital footprints created by them on the internet, which means, are they blogging, are they doing some intelligent writing? And when I say intelligent writing, I'm not looking at thousands of words. A 500 or 400 or 300 word blog, small little blogs on current issues or on any problem which is crossing their mind, they should write. They should be very active on all the social media platforms, be it Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc., where they should be sharing their meaningful thoughts. And you don't have to be very articulate in it, but that is creating your digital footprint, so that tomorrow if I'm doing due diligence on you, you want to get into LLM, or you applied for some scholarship, I would see that, are you just a paper person? You have submitted a 20-page document to me that what all you have done, but there is no way for me to verify formidably that whether what you have written is true or not, how to substantiate it. So I might go on Google to sort of find out that whatever you have written, do is there any substantive information available on the internet about that person? So you must spend time writing articles, writing comments, but don't be very radical in your views. Be very logical, because lawyers should be very logical and should not be leaning too much on the opposite poles of right and left. uh, Very analytical and logical approach, because that can take you long way.
So this is a very practical advice. I mean, a habit of writing something every day is a very good habit. And
Absolutely.
there are so many platforms. This is an opportunity which was not available to us when we were young. There was only print
Absolutely.
media.
Yeah.
And today you can have your own blog if
Yeah,
enough is there.
absolutely. And nobody wants to read lengthy blogs. So, whatever random thoughts are coming to your mind, and random thoughts could be as simple as that you were looking at the sky and you saw some birds and some thought crossed your mind and you wrote it. It may not have a legal implication, but a person who's going through your blog will appreciate, because he will consider you as a holistic personality, that you are not only a unilaterally thinking person, that you just think law, law, and law. but you are a psychologist as well. You appreciate psychology, you appreciate philosophy of life, and so on and so forth. So don't get bogged down by judgment of people. Write whatever comes to your mind. Yeah.
Right, so if some books that you would like to suggest people to read, law books as well as general reading, some of your favorites.
Well, see, I mean, I have what I have started doing now is that I have subscribed to this software called Blinkist.
Yeah.
And Blinkist gives you a summary in 3 pages of a book. And I'm not a great reader of books, because we've read so much in our lives that we look at all concise material. But I would advise all the listeners and viewers that try to access Blinkist. It's the annual subscription is about 2,500 rupees. They've got amazing collection of books, and one book you can complete in about 10 to 12 minutes. And it is beautifully written, the summary, and it is written with the permission of the author approves it. So Blinkist is one, and I'm sure there are quite a few other applications available on the phone and even on PC, which gives you a précis writing of the books. And in terms of the areas which you should look at reading, I would say that I mean, try to read more of non-fiction than fiction. you know
Okay.
it might be sometimes fiction creates too much of excitement, so people start leaning towards fiction. But I'm telling you, non-fiction is something which will add a lot to your experience. Try to learn from experience of others. Why should you know uh, try to get into some difficult situation to gain experience? If somebody has gone into some difficult situation, try to gain out of his experience or her experience.
Right, so the last query that I will take is about law and public policy. A lot of people are interested in getting that space of public policy. One, they are asking how they can go about, and second, if you can recommend any platforms, any courses, online courses for the same.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you, see, I mean, I have realized that public policy knowledge is very important. And the knowledge not only about how a public policy reads, but how public policy originates, why the need arises, how does one formulate it, what goes behind. Because, I mean, there are 6 stages of public policy making, and law is part of public policy. Public policy is mother of law, actually. And I would say that if you could get into some diploma course with a specialized or a certificate course of a specialized institution, for instance, Indian School of Public Policy, with which I'm associated, or getting attached with some think tank like Center for Civil Society, or org. And there are quite a few other think tanks, where you could get associated with, and learn the whole sort of parameters of public policy. It will be great. And apart from that, you could do some online courses on Coursera about public policy. There are some courses which are good, which may be with regard to a foreign destination, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the public policy parameters and salient features are same all across the globe, though the content may differ, but that stage comes pretty much at the end. But how the whole thing originates, the whole formula is very scientific and common amongst all nations. So one could sort of do that.
Right, sir. And we at EBC Learning have also developing lot many courses. I'll
On
just
public,
share.
oh, fantastic. I mean, then it'll be too good, because I have worked closely with EBC, and they're fantastic. I mean, if they've started with public policy, have they started with public policy thing as well?
They're not yet, but
I think,
thinking
I mean,
about.
we should ask them, and rather I should tell them through you, because you are an integral part, and advising them on several projects. I think public policy is a key today, area of profession as well. Because if you go to the Prime Minister's office, for instance, I mean, you'll find so many young people sitting there who are the brain behind the entire, legislation. So there are many career options as well for public policy students. So that could be a good area. to
Right.
focus on.
So one more question I have to take. Somebody has started his career in law at the age of 41, and
Yeah,
he's getting a teaching job basically in IPR. So he wants to start practicing.
yeah,
So what should be the path for him, considering that it is at almost after 40 years of age he has entered the profession?
yeah. Well, see, let me tell you. I mean, I know of many sitting Supreme Court judges who had a very, successful career as a lawyer, but still they were very fond of teaching in law schools and so on and so forth. And I also know of some uh, well acclaimed lawyers who retired as from government service, and they started doing quite well. So my advice one would be that he should first try to take some pro bono cases, which will give him a sense of accomplishment and visibility in the legal spectrum, be it court or outside court. Second, it may be a good decision to write to few law firms where the gentleman could become an off counsel to these attached with some law firms where he could offer some unique specialized services in the legal uh, area of profession, and and uh, I think he would be good to go. But obviously, for him, networking and PR would be important because as he has entered at this stage of life, he may not have many peers who would be there to support him. So he will have to go around, meet people, socialize, and plus also perhaps start with pro bono.
Right, sir. Sir, with your permission, I'll just like to show our viewers the EBC Learning website so that they can take advantage
Definitely.
of the same.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
So here at EBC Learning, we have done certain talks and certain courses. So around 38 of our courses are there. I'll just quickly give you the topics that we have covered. We have covered ADR, we have covered arbitration as well as mediation. We have done course on banking practice, careers in law, competition law, on due diligence, which is by Sir himself. We have done a courses on consumer protection. We have got three courses on consumer protection. We have got two courses on contract law, one on criminal law. Then we have got around seven courses on insolvency and bankruptcy code, and two on mergers and acquisition. Apart from that, we have got talks with the leading personalities. One of the last talks with Ram Jethmalani sir was with us. So we have a talk with him. We have talked with Mr. Madhva Menon, who was again one of his last talk with Professor N.R. Madhva Menon, the founder of Analyst, founding VC of Analyst. Then we do have talk with Mr. Tulsi, with Raju Ramchandran sir. Apart from that, we have a talk on valuation under IBC. And then we have talked with a young lawyer, Prasanna, on GDPR issues. So this is just an overview. We have got various packages for the website. This is again a subscription-based model that we are using. So do explore our website. It is ebclearning.com. Right. So you can take advantage. You can give us our feedback. We are looking forward for a constructive feedback. And with this, I would like to say thank you to all the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable
Thank you.
time with us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good day.
Okay. Bye bye. Goodbye. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.